Hello and welcome to the Premier Football Podcast. I'm Rafe Garland.
I'm Joe Doherty.
We're here very quickly on a Monday afternoon just to have a quick recap of the international football. Joe, you had one eye on England first. It went entirely to plan, entirely along with the line of your predictions on Friday evening, am I right?
I did. I was just talking about how easy it would be for England, how straightforward qualification always is, and then they go and pull a fast one in Prague and come out with nothing. It's a pretty poor performance for all intents and purposes. Harry Kane gave them the lead from the penalty spot after Raheem Sterling was brought down inside the first 4 or 5 minutes, and then the Czech hit back. I think it was just before half time, and then another in the 85th minute, or else it was just after half time. But it was around that, and they fell to a 2-1 loss.
The first time they've lost a qualifying game for either the World Cup or the Euros in 10 years, as far as I'm aware.
It's insane. Like I said on Friday, though, they do get seeded with really, really average teams, and like as we see, obviously, when they go into the international tournaments, they never fare as well as they do in qualifying. It's in qualifying. Is
it a case of complacency maybe in the England team this week, or are they burned out? Was it the selection? Maybe a few players out of form for their club. What would you put the defeat down to, Joe?
For me, I think that selection was a big thing. If you look at the defence, which is where the mistakes were made for the Czech goals, I'm not too sure if anyone outside of Harry Maguire should be starting for England.
And even he's not in great form for his club.
He's not, but with John Stones out injured, he's going to be a fixture in the England side regardless. But if you're looking at right back, Trippier, for me, you have to be playing Alexander-Arnold there.
I think we highlighted Trippier on Friday evening, and we highlighted Michael Keane as well, who was at fault for both goals.
We did. Michael Keane is a bang average centre half, if I'm perfectly honest. I can't understand why.
He's a regular fixture for a team that are 18th in the Premier League.
That's it, yeah. I don't think that he's ever really set the world alight for Everton as well, since he moved, not this summer but the summer before. Yeah. And then at left back, Danny Rose, why is he getting picked ahead of Ben Chilwell?
It seems almost like Gareth Southgate picked his back four on the form of 2017 rather than the form of 2019.
He might even be going back further than that, to be perfectly honest.
Trippier and Rose.
I can't understand it. Chilwell is England's best left back.
He's going to come in tonight because Rose is suspended, obviously, and you'd imagine that Trent Alexander-Arnold will come back into right back.
You would. I mean, Trent Alexander-Arnold is the best right back in the league. There's no debate.
He is. He's the second most creative player in the league this season.
After De Bruyne?
Yeah.
I'd say that after De Bruyne, he's got the best cross in the league. I think that in youth football he played central midfield, but then Klopp, when he was first looking at bringing him into the team, moved him to right back because of his speed. He's just so good at getting up and down the flank, works so hard, but then the key to his game and the key to Liverpool's success is the quality of delivery from wide areas.
Absolutely.
From those fullbacks, especially.
And on the other side, Chilwell is the third most productive fullback behind only the two Liverpool fullbacks. Is it a case where his name should be nailed down at left back? Is there any real competition? I know at the right back there's Kyle Walker, Alexander-Arnold, Wan-Bissaka. There's a few names in the hat for that right side, but I mean, Danny Rose is not good enough to play left back for England anymore, is he?
He's not. If Ryan Sessegnon had arrived fit from Fulham, Danny Rose would have left. When he comes back, he'll be third choice. Ben Davies isn't exactly great at getting up and down, but he's a very reliable defender. He's probably a better defender than an attacker. To answer your question, Chilwell should have his place nailed on pretty much.
Rumours that Tyrone Mings is set to start at centre back tonight.
That's an interesting one. I think that to be honest, I was surprised when Bournemouth let him go. I know that he had struggled to get in, probably because of Nathan Ake, who was a very similar player, and Paul playing left-sided centre back. For some reason, it doesn't really work to play two left-footed centre backs. I
wouldn't be a fan of having two left-footed centre backs.
Neither would I. I'd shift one of them to left back. No, it just doesn't work. You can do it with right-footed. I don't know why. We'll have to do a feature on that sometime. We'll get in and analyse it, because I know we both have a lot to say about that.
Absolutely. And even you see more right-footers play left back than you don't see left-footers playing right back.
No, that's just not on. You can't be doing that.
Absolutely not. There's been a lot of talk about England's midfield. Obviously, the front three are the front three. They don't seem to be up for a discussion, up for debate. That they are the best three English forwards at the minute. But the midfield playing the combination of Rice, who has been okay for West Ham. He's not been brilliant, and I think there's a lot of people out there that are kind of scratching their heads seeing him included, especially along with Jordan Henderson. if he's going to play the 4-3-3, can he play Mason Mount in midfield as part of a 4-3-3?
Of course he can. I think that you could play Mount and Maddison either side of Henderson. I think that Henderson's that.
Did you see that
reliable.
Maddison was pictured in a casino on Friday evening at the same time England were playing and losing?
We discussed that.
Having pulled out ill. I think he did have an issue with his ankle as well,
Yeah.
but illness was the official cause he withdrew from the squad.
Yeah.
What do you make of that?
I think that the media have crucified him, or certain sects of the media have crucified him. Like we said over the phone, I think that he's entitled to do what he wants on his time off.
This is it. If he wasn't a footballer, the headlines would be "Man goes out after work."
Exactly. Yeah. No, he wasn't going to be
Gareth
selected.
Southgate has said that
he withdrew. Yeah.
as an England player, though, he's got to be, was it smarter or aware? He's got to be aware
Right.
that he is going to be in the spotlight more, and what he's done surely hasn't reflected well on England or on himself.
No.
As a player that has questions raised over his attitude and his commitment, I don't think he'd be happy to find himself on the front page, albeit of the Sun.
No, you wouldn't. Like, I don't know. But then gambling is rife in football. The amount of sponsorship deals that are.
But more the fact that he's meant to be in bed ill. He was
Yeah,
sent home on
yeah.
Thursday with illness.
Yeah, no, it's
And
true.
he was out
Yeah.
in the casino on Friday
Yeah,
evening.
you think that if he is to go out, you keep it a quiet one. Maybe go
Yeah.
out for a bite to eat, or
You might
to
even
a
go out
friend's
and watch
house
the
or
match
something.
somewhere.
Yeah. Rather than just completely shut it off. I guess there are more than one way to look at it.
Madison has come out and said before that he's not happy with the place on the England bench. Do you think that he maybe wasn't too fussed with hanging around once he realised he wasn't going to be involved? I think Mason Mount came out and said he knew 2 or 3 days beforehand that he was going to be starting the game, which so obviously Madison knew he wasn't going to be starting. Do you think that might have had anything to do with him going home early, or?
I think that he should be happy to be in the England squad at all. I think that he's an excellent player, but if you look at the rate that maybe in the 1990s, you think back of David Beckham,
Yeah.
a player of his caliber was only really starting to be selected
Yeah.
before the 1998 World Cup when he was 22, 23. Yeah, but 22,
Yeah.
23. Madison's not 23 yet, but yeah, he shouldn't be expecting to be a fixture in the England side. He should be delighted to be in the squad, and he should be doing everything that he can when selected to make sure that he gets in the next one.
Do you think that midfield is a bit of a disjointed selection based on the style they want to play, based on the system that they want to play, with Rice as an out-and-out holding midfielder and Henderson getting forward as well? Henderson and Mount are not the same player.
No,
And they're
of course not.
playing symmetrically on two sides of the pitch. Mount was meant to be the left centre midfielder, where he's been playing much more as a genuine number 10, or actually off the
Yeah.
left wing for Chelsea.
Yeah.
He's been playing as a forward for Chelsea, where he was asked to play as more of an 8 in the England style, with 1.5 pivots in behind him in Rice and Henderson. Do you think that there's a case that maybe a more natural midfielder, maybe Harry Winks? A lot of people have talked about him. I know he plays for Spurs, Joe. We'll put that aside for a sec.
No, I am putting that aside. I don't see anything in Harry Winks.
He's tipped as England's best ball playing midfielder, the best keeper of the ball, keeps things ticking over, passes the ball. Is there a case that he should be in the team ahead of Declan Rice? Maybe leave Jordan Henderson as the 6, play two more attacking players, or do you play maybe Winks and Rice and Henderson with Mount further forward, coming off the bench maybe as an impact player? He is only 19. There's a lot of discussion that England shirts are just being handed out to kids at the minute on the back of 3 or 4 good games. Do you think that shirts have to be earned a bit more? They've got to be really, you've really got to back it up with weeks and weeks and months and even years of quality performances, rather than just, here's the shirt for 2 weeks, all right, you're out of the news now, you're out of the team, we'll get someone else back in.
Yeah, without question.
Is there a lack of loyalty?
I think that you need to be made to work hard at club level to get in the international side. If you think back, I'm going to talk about like the 90s when we were just getting into football, and England had a great crop of strikers. They had Alan Shearer, Michael Owen, Robbie Fowler,
Emile Heskey.
Heskey to an extent, Ian Wright, although he was coming towards the end of his career, Andy Cole, Teddy Sheringham, Chris Sutton, like really that's
elite strikers.
Lead like strikers who were in their prime, playing for the top clubs, and
only 2 of them could get in the team.
Exactly, and that provides competition. And a lot of them who, Stan Collymore, another one, Les Ferdinand, another one.
Yeah.
Like it just provides competition for places. And
Gary Neville had big issues getting into the England team for a long time, didn't he?
Yeah.
And he actually retired early because he couldn't get in. Shearer retired early as well, didn't he?
He did, yeah. He retired after Euro 2000s. Goals retired early as well. But I think that's because he was played out of position. He was always played, but he was put on the left wing.
Like, it's taken how long for him to drop Ali and Lingard, and we said maybe he was too loyal to these guys, and now we're questioning maybe a lack of loyalty to guys that have been around a bit longer. Obviously, it's great to see Mason Mount getting a shot for England, but he's being played out of position just to get his name in there.
Exactly.
And I think the shape suffered. A lot of people would say he played far too close to Raheem Sterling.
Yeah.
He was taking up a lot of his space. He wasn't dropping deep looking for the ball as a number 8 should. He was essentially playing as a fourth striker out of position, and they struggled to then keep the ball in midfield. They were mismatched on sides. Sterling ended up coming in a lot more. Sancho ended up getting a bit more narrow. They lost their shape because Southgate was just throwing names in for the sake of throwing names in.
I think that he had to go away from the 5 at the back, like, just to progress. It was a good starting point.
Look, they've been playing with 4 at the back during the qualifiers.
Yeah,
I think they're averaging a goal every 23 minutes. So we're not saying that England are in chaos or they're in crisis or Southgate out.
No.
But
what I was going to say is that this has had a changing from the 5 at the back to the 4 at the back has had a knock-on effect on the midfield and the type of midfield that he can pick.
Yeah.
He used to pick just one pivot, which was Henderson, but now he's got, because he had 3 centre backs in behind him.
Yeah.
Now he's gone to 2 at the back. He probably feels that he needs a bit more protection in front of them.
Yeah.
And that just having one pivot in Jordan Henderson,
I don't think he played with 2 pivots and a 10 the other day.
But he played with 2 defensive-minded midfielders.
Yeah, well, Henderson has been given a bit more of a licence with Liverpool, and I think with England he's expected to get box to box as well. But that if it was a case where he used to play Rice and Henderson deep and Mount as a number 10, I think that would reflect Mount's club style a lot more.
Yeah.
Whereas asking him to play as a second number 8 in midfield isn't his game. It's not his style. He is very much a forward as opposed to a number 8 midfielder. And it'll be interesting to see where he slots in this evening as well, whether he plays him again as a number 8 or he does make an effort to conscientiously move him further forward, or whether he takes him out of the team.
Yeah.
How do you expect the game to go tonight, Joe?
I expect an England win.
Yeah.
I expect a response. You can't play like that, like really not turn up.
Yeah.
And then go and do the same thing or just improve a little bit. I expect a big response. I expect a change in team selection.
Yeah.
And I expect an England win.
Score?
2-0.
2-0?
Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. All right, well look, that's about all we have time for, guys. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for all of your opinions, Joe. It's a pleasure.
Thanks, Rafe.
As always. Make sure to check out our other platforms: Twitter, Spotify, Facebook. Are we anywhere else, Joe?
For the time being, that's where we are.
That's where we are.
We'll be on Instagram.
Like, subscribe, comment, share. Let everybody know about the wonderful Premier Football podcast that is happening.
Yeah.
On the go. We might be joining you from new, different, exotic locations every time. Yeah, watch this space. Stay tuned, guys. Thanks for listening.
Yes.
Cheers. Bye-bye.